Hey guys, I'm JT with Beach Block Games, and welcome to my first devlog video. I don't have a channel trailer up yet, so I'll save the details about who I am for that. But for today's purposes, just know I'm a solo indie game dev, and I work with using Unity game engine. And I just published my first game on Steam and Google Play. The links for those should be at the top of my channel page. I can't post the links to the game directly in the description below because it's a new channel and YouTube won't let me yet. So let's talk about the game that I'm working on now. I just started this project last week. A week ago today I opened it up, and today being November 19th, so I am keeping documentation for this project. I have not for my other games that I've done. Besides the game I just published, I have a few little game jam projects I've done. They can be found on my itch page, which also should be a link there for that. So this scene we're looking at here is the demo scene for Synty Assets Polygon Battle Royale pack. So what I'm going for here is a military themed shooter game. We'll have single or multiplayer available. The multiplayer will be client hosted, so there won't be you'll generate your own public or private server for your friends to join, or if you want random people to join your game. There won't be public servers that I'm paying for to join, or that the game will have to manage. So just that's the direction I'm planning on going with that. There'll also be the game modes will be survival for 1 to, I don't know how many players yet. I haven't decided. Maybe you all have some suggestions for that. I was thinking maybe 4 would probably be the ideal, just for that mode. And I'm thinking survival kind of in respect of not like a survival crafting type thing, but just a survival shooter, like if you remember the old Call of Duty 3 from Xbox 360, that's the kind of mode I'm looking at. Then also I want to do a multiplayer battle royale thing, hence the pack I'm using for my testing and building out systems for the game. I also have Synty's military pack and war pack, so we'll have some older style weapons and vehicles and things like that, props and stuff in the game as well as the more modern and more general style military themed stuff. So the mini battle royale I'm thinking of is going to be kind of like Warzone's DMZ mode, where you might have some side mission type stuff that you can use for player progression and things like that. So first off, what are your thoughts on the game in general as I've described it? Are there some other game modes you'd like to see included if you were to play this game? How many players should I try to shoot for in a multiplayer game? I'm thinking like 50. That's my initial thought. I don't want to go super high scale. I mean, like I said, I'm going to do client hosted, so I think I can get away with 50. I don't know. I have to test that and all kinds of things, and do some more research on it. That's just my initial thought process as I'm laying out the design for this. So speaking of design, let's talk about that a little bit. So I'm thinking first and third person perspectives as an option. Right now I'm developing the third person controller, which, let me just go ahead and pop down in here onto my little guy I've got in game, and as soon as it starts, and then we'll walk around a little bit in the world. So the map you're just looking at there, this scene is, like I said, it's a demo scene, and it's kind of like let's kind of run around here a little bit, so you can see the world from player perspective. So I think these assets look good, by the way. I'm going for the low poly stuff so that hopefully I can optimize the game well enough to where it just about anybody will be able to play this. You won't have to have a super high-end machine, and I won't have to spend ages trying to optimize high resolution graphics and all that stuff with different graphics options and all that, because again, I'm a solo dev. So yeah, I like the assortment of assets that come in these packs too. So like, I can walk right up in here. Well, the stairs don't cooperate very well, but I can get in here and I could hide and shoot at people and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, first and third person perspectives, they'll be changeable. The map size, that's what I was on. This would be the smallest probably of maps that I would use, because like I can see from that bridge right there, and right past that house right there is the other side of this little island, so it's not real big. I would start at this size, at the smallest, and work my way up. So some other things, again, I mentioned already a progression system that would be included. We'll have unlockable weapons and items and things like that. Not sure yet what I would do for something like upgrading player skills, such as, I don't know, making them run faster, shoot more accurate. That may be dependent just on the guns. I'm not sure yet. And how you equip your weapons. Weapon attachments would be an unlockable, because this will have a full customizable weapon system, kind of like Call of Duty. But we'll try not to make too many comparisons to Call of Duty, although I guess you could say I am really came up with the idea to make this game just because there's a lot of stuff about Call of Duty that bugs me, and I wanted to get into game dev, so I said, you know what, I'll just make a replacement. So in part because I can hardly play Warzone anymore. The game crashes like every 2-3 matches for me. That's about the most I get out of it. So yeah, anyway, back to this game. So of course we'll have various different types of weapons, inventory system, potentially loot drops. Not sure how I want to do that. That may be something to create hotspots in the multiplayer games. We'll have in-game currency, and I don't know yet if I'll do in-game buy stations type things, or whatever you want to call them, or if I'll do just an in-menu shop where you earn the currency in the game and then you take that to between matches and you spend that in the shop. Maybe you save up a lot of currency to buy some unlockable, I don't know, god tier weapon or something like that. I don't know. Still toying with ideas for that. So thinking about having movable and destructible objects. So like, I don't know, things like these pallets right here. I mean, if you're driving, well, there's a spoiler. Plan on having drivable and flyable vehicles. So if you're driving around in a big old truck and you run into a pallet laying in the street, it should basically just shatter into a million pieces. It shouldn't, like, you shouldn't jump it with the vehicle. You shouldn't have it just go flying off. Like, it should break it. That's just my the way I'm thinking about it. So the other thing I would have is that I've got wrote down so far is some kind of mini map or a radar system. So undecided on that. Probably a mini map. But again, I have a lot of ideas, some of which I've not settled on. So leave me a comment below if you have some ideas of your own, things you'd like to see. I'd like to get some feedback going and some discussion going to help me build a game that people want to play. So I need some community involvement. So now I'm going to talk about some of the technical stuff and what I've spent my time on so far. So first of all, I started with this guy, obviously, and this demo scene, and I got him moving. I started with Unity's third-person controller. Actually, let me back up. The first day I started this actual project, so I had done some thinking about it prior, as far as wanting to do this, and that's been over 6 months ago. So last week I opened a project, started setting up the project structure, and imported my assets, and then I started working with the character controller. Threw in the Unity third-person starter asset controller, and quickly figured out that when I come to, let's go back here and find some of that rough terrain, like where that airplane was. So yeah, this rough dirt right here had a mesh collider on it, and again, this is going to be more technical discussion. So the player would be basically hovering in the air right here, like more so than that 1 foot is now, but by deleting the default mesh collider that they had on there, and just re-adding a default, I shouldn't say default, these are all prefab objects, right, that come in this demo scene. So I took that prefab, deleted the mesh collider that it was set up with, which had convex checked, and then I added back just a default mesh collider with default settings, and that fixed the problem. So that was one of the first things that I ran into. Again, otherwise, like standing right here, I would be like way up in midair. But anyway, so after that, I got to looking into how to do different ways of doing a shooter controller. So I will say a lot of my resources for building this is going to be videos from CodeMonkey. So if you're familiar with his channel, you know what I'm talking about. If not, and you're interested in game dev, I highly recommend you watch his channel. I cannot recommend it enough. So I started looking into the weapon aiming and things like that, and so we got the little dot on the screen, and I had to decide, how I was going to handle shooting. So first thing I did, so that I had something to test with, was I took these targets right here, and I took the prefab and I threw on a script, and made it to where when you hit it with something, whether it be a projectile or raycast, whatever, you can tell it what to trigger with, made it so that it would play a sound. So here's what I have so far. And the closer the target is, the louder it is. And there's another one back there somewhere. There's one. And so anyway, there's one back there. Oh, that pallet has that's not one of my pallet prefabs. That one has a big collider on it that gets in the way and hides the target right there. But so I made that sound so that I could detect whether I was hitting what I was aiming at or not. So we got that working, and I had to decide whether I was using projectiles or just raycasts. Well, quickly I found the problem with projectiles is that when you're shooting the projectile, because I did start with that, and depending on the physics system to detect the collisions, if it's moving very fast, it doesn't always work, and if you get fast enough, it never works. So what I did was I decided that for fast firing weapons like firearms, we'll use the raycasting, and I'll talk more about how I'm going to handle that and the delay between firing and hitting a target depending on distance, things like that. I'll talk about how I'm going to do that in a future video, once I've actually got a working solution for that. I have an idea of how it's going to work, but I'll have to make sure first. But anyway, so we'll use projectiles for slower firing weapons like RPGs and things like that. So one other thing I figured out here as an aside is you'll notice this target, no matter where I shoot it, it hits. Now, I actually took convex off of this too, and it's just a non-convex collider. Now, I do have some, I mentioned the pallets. I have these pallets over here that are stacked up. I actually modified those from the default prefab as well. I added rigid bodies to them, so they actually fall with gravity. But you know what? I just thought of something. So I'm going to jump in the gun here, but if I crouch down, I can walk under here, right? But I never tested what happens if I go under here and I stand up. Okay, that happens. So I can move that pallet. Yeah. Anyway, that's good to know. I just tested that live. So anyhow, those have a convex collider for the rigid body to work properly, and without them being kinematic. If they're kinematic, they don't move. You have to code everything, and it's just the physics. I'd rather have the physics system handle that stuff by itself. So, but with these things, if you add a convex collider, it fills in this corner right here with a mesh so that if you shoot here, it would actually hit it. Now I'm clicking and it's not hitting it. But if I hit right on the edge, you can actually see where my gun kind of changes from that door behind it to the steel target in front of me, just because of the way the ray casting works. And I'm going to try to work that out too. But so yeah, those ray casting works without the convex collider, so that you don't actually shoot stuff that you didn't mean to shoot and get false positive hits. We don't want that. So anyway, that's just a little thing I figured out along the way. So let me look at my notes here and see what else I have not talked about. Oh yeah, the controller. So after I got that working, I started working on the animations. So you can see I can run and jump, and I can crouch. I showed you that, but I can also go prone. Now my animations are not done. Obviously he's trying to hold a pistol like a rifle, and that doesn't work. So we'll get that ironed out later when I get more into the weapon system and I have different weapons in the game. But yeah, so there's there are some things to be worked out with animations. Now I also worked on the that weapon aiming system. Now you'll notice if I aim up, that gun is not going up, and if I aim down, the gun's not pointing at the ground. There's a solution for that with animation rigging that I've messed with for a long time before I realized that the issue I was having was that those do not play well with avatar masks in the animator. So I had to finally figured out to fix this to work as well as it does, that if I remove that avatar mask, then it just works a lot better even without the animation rigging part. So but I took a break from that after I figured that out, and I decided to add climbable ladders. Now obviously I still got to do animations for that and all that stuff, but this is working. And once again, I got this from a Code Monkey video. Now there I was falling and I kind of grabbed the ladder, but so yeah, I still got some collision detection to work out with that too. But I also made this little box so I could get into it, because the player's collider actually interferes with the natural collider that pops on here if you put a mesh collider on. So this particular guard tower has a lot of custom box colliders on it, so I can jump up into the roof, but I can shoot outside of the windows here. Actually, if I see, I don't know if I can hit that from here or not. Yep, do you hear? I don't know if you could hear that, but yeah, it's hitting the steel from here. That's cool. I like that. So I'm shooting through this opening and hitting, was it that opening? Yeah, shooting through this opening, I can hit that target. So it's clear to be shot out of, but you can also crouch down behind here and be somewhat protected from other players, because again, there's box colliders on the side. So let's see. Last thing is, I actually have to scroll my notes now. I was at the bottom of the page. The ladders was the last thing I worked on. And animations need work. So okay. So now my question to you is, if you're a game dev, what have you seen me talk about the issues I've had that maybe you would handle things a little differently, or some ideas that you have as far as I don't know, anything that you'd recommend to me ahead of time, seeing what I'm working on. I plan on now, so what's upcoming? I plan on doing a devlog. I'm hoping every week. I don't know how realistic that is. So far, I've got a couple hours invested just in this little video here. And I don't have it rendered or uploaded yet, so we'll see. But yeah, if you guys, I started to mention too, yeah, they'll be driving vehicles eventually. That's probably one of the later things I'll add, but I do plan on adding it. But yeah, we've got boats, we've got different cars, trucks. There's a motorcycle. I think we got an actual tank that's not destroyed that we can play with. There's a motorcycle. Now this pack only has that crashed plane in it, but the military pack has a variety of planes, helicopters, things of that nature. So yeah, we're gonna have some fun in this game once I get it done. Next thing I'm going to be working on immediately after I finish getting this video uploaded is I'm going to start working on a player inventory system. So the plan there is for different backpacks, different sizes and configurations that will have both slots and a kind of center general area of the backpack that works as like a Tetris style system that you can just fit your stuff in there however you want. Different things will take up different number of slots, things like that. I just thought that would be a little fun addition to the game. This is not intended to be a esports title. It's meant to just be fun to play, and if the whole thing with the multiplayer, the way I want to handle it is, if you host a public server, you can kick it. If you join a public server, you don't like the way they're playing, just go host your own, or get some friends together and play it. My development cycle plan is for hopefully to have the Steam store page ready for the end of the year, and I might be pushing it for that. It might be January, February before that happens, but I'm planning to release by the time I finish school in May. So we'll call it May, June for the release. I will finish school in May. That's one of the things that I'll talk about in my channel intro video when I get that done. I'm in college online and stuff. I actually work full-time as well, so this is not a full-time development project. This is when I get time. I've got so much done this past week because this past week was my last week off on a little break I had from school because of class availability. But anyway, I'll quit rambling now. Let me know what you all think of that inventory idea. The sooner I get comments on that, the sooner I can decide if I need to make any corrections. But I am going to start trying to get that worked out here a little bit this afternoon. Again, the day is the 19th. This video should go up here in just a little bit. And yeah, so hopefully you guys are looking forward to this. I think I can make a fun game. I think I stand a even better chance of making a fun game. Hey, look at that. If I run into those pallets that pushes them, that's awesome. Yeah, we're going to have fun with this. I'll also have ledge grabbing and climbing at some point too. That's going to be a later feature, as well as sliding, possibly swimming. Don't know if I want to do swimming yet or not, but yeah. See, That collider, that does not have a high collider. I don't know what's in the way of that other shot over there, but anyway, yeah, so if you have any ideas, drop a comment. Any tips or advice on, the things I've struggled with so far, let me know. If any, resources you want to recommend, particular things you want to see in the game, let me know. If you're looking forward to this, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and you'll get updated when I post another devlog, and you can kind of join me on this journey. So thanks for watching, guys.